Week and TalkPix.com. I'm Rob Kruger. This is episode 76 with our Monday message. So today, Photo World, I want to go over a little bit more in depth on a topic that comes up in so many different interviews. And I love the interview process. You know, I've said that before. But when we're talking, it's so brief and so quick how we get through the different segments and find out information from these other photographers and professionals working their business and sharing that information with us. And one that comes up time and time again in how to improve, how to kind of build your worth as a photographer, as a business person, and grow is networking. We hear it all the time. A question will come by and ask what's one way to make, major growth or success. Depending on whatever level you're at, it wouldn't even matter. What can you do? Go ahead and network. Great. Wonderful. What does that mean? How do we network? Well, there are so many different ways to go about networking and things that you can do, things that are going to be helpful, things that could be a major mistake, but often are taught for networking. And I just want to totally be honest here and say that I am not the perfect answer for how to network. But I've learned a few things as I've been in business and been working with others who are in business and kind of finding out their strategies, because through networking, you're going to learn from others and share with others as you provide feedback to them on certain strategies, the same as they'll provide it to you. So I want to break it down for you. We're going to go over one little detail of what we can use today that can really help our business grow, and that is Facebook. All right. I mean, it comes up on the show all the time. It's good for sharing things. It's good for getting your work out there. It's a nice free resource to be a little bit discovered or kind of connect with others. But we can use it for networking professionally or for our customers. It's totally up to you, but there are certain things you might want to do to kind of clean it up. Now, Photo World, I want to be totally clear. I may not have all the best answers. There's probably 1,000 different ways to use Facebook for networking, but I know of a few things that can help you kind of clean up your appearance and, make it simple for how you work business versus personal life in the same space, and kind of project a good vibe or professional view that you can use it for networking, and how to use the few resources within Facebook that can help you build that connection. So one, look at your profile. I mean, is your profile picture appropriate? Do you have different things in your gallery that you've been tagged in at a party that you probably don't really want to share with everybody in your professional network? So go ahead and remove tags and, clean it up a little bit. Maybe delete some photos that you're not proud of yourself, or things that you've even taken that you don't think really display your best efforts. So clean up your profile. It's a huge deal. I mean, for a long time, I was just using Facebook socially like everybody else and searching for certain things and sharing different stuff that I thought was interesting or funny or, really related to certain views I have in the world politically and otherwise. So I'm sharing all this stuff, not even thinking about how that affects my network. Well, it totally affects your network. People can know you and think wonderful things about you and not know certain things where you might disagree. Politics is a big one. All right. So if you're putting out things of what you think on politics and you're finding a lot of people who don't agree with you, then you're kind of separating yourself from a whole nother view of people that may have something good to offer you, and you may have something good to offer them. So you don't want to cut yourself off to that network, because if you're going to use Facebook for networking, you have to play all areas correctly. It doesn't mean you can't have your opinion. It doesn't mean you can't be be disagreeing with people on certain things. But what it does mean is you don't have to go out of your way to say something about it. You can kind of leave it alone, leave it in your own time. Maybe it's not meant for Facebook for you to do that because you want to use it for a network. So clean it up a little bit. Be careful about what you share. Be careful about the pictures that you're showing of yourself and your business or whatever you want from any angle people could take it. It's not about being politically correct or anything like that. It's just about a appearance of professionalism and showing this is who I am for my business and what I'm trying to achieve for the network. So you might want to start there. Just clean it up a little bit. Aside from cleaning up your profile, when you do share things, maybe get things that are kind of relevant to your field, relevant to your career. So that way others who are interested in your field or your career path and have similar feelings about it and directions they're taking to achieve the same thing or similar things, that would be your network, right? So you want to connect with them, post things or share things that are going to relate to them. If they're looking for that information, you're putting it up. Now you're relevant to them and it's going to help you build that network. So find those different posts that you're reading that are interesting to your field, put it out there, create posts that make sense for your career, and share that with the world, your network of friends you already have, but then your professional network that you can gain as well. You want to make sure you set the status of these different posts and stuff. Are they public? Can anybody see them? Are they closed? Do you only have a few people that you can specifically send that to? Is it kind of secret where certain members are allowed with the post? I mean, there are different privacy settings in Facebook, and you can do that. Another thing is kind of splitting your use of Facebook. Again, we get it for rebuilding old contacts that we haven't been in touch with. It's like this past weekend I had my high school reunion, and you just see all these people you haven't seen in a long time. And Facebook was a great place for that, to kind of make those connections back that you might have lost. And we have our professional life aside from that, whether we have our friends today, our past friends that we still want to maintain some sort of connection, or the professionalism that we have going on for our profile and our careers. You can split those groups up into different lists. So when you go to your friends, you can make a list of certain friends that are professional based or photography based. I have that, or just different artists, different business people. I have so many different lists, but then you can share with certain lists and be a part of that community only, instead of kind of the whole mass of your Facebook profile. So create lists afterwards of cleaning up your profile and starting to figure out what you will and won't share. Make lists on who you will and won't share with. After we kind of clean up and organize our perspective of Facebook, our actual profile, what people are going to see of us, and how we interact with it and the others involved in our profile, or our connections and those lists being made, now we want to kind of get involved with different groups. I mean, this is kind of the new age of chat rooms. I don't know if people are even doing chat rooms anymore, but when we were starting to get into that quick communication, people would join chat rooms and talk to each other and just shoot the breeze about a certain topic that everybody's involved in. Well, we have groups for that now. I'm a part of several different photography groups, and it seems like every time I interview somebody on the show, they have a group they've created or they're a part of that they recommend, and I always try to get in and join them, and not every single one of them will let any of you in. It's just you have to kind of have a certain look or style, or have certain things on your page that really relate to that group. So if you are a photographer and you're trying to make this a business, or if you're just interested in photography and you want to learn more, there are plenty of groups that are happy to have you join. It just takes a minute when you ask to join, and they let you in based on the things you're sharing and showing on your profile. So you do want to make sure all those things are in line for you, with the clean appearance on your profile as well as what you're sharing. So, I mean, it kind of just keeps tying together over and over. This one huge look of professionalism makes total sense. So getting into those groups is step one. Now being active in the group is the biggest step. It sounds like it's a lot of work just creating your list, cleaning up your profile, getting rid of things that just don't make sense for your business, your professional career anymore. So, I mean, that sounds like a lot of work, but that's just the cleanup to get started in the networking process. This is where it really comes into play when you're joining the groups. These are active groups. People are interested in sharing and learning from one another and providing their information on what they know about the field. So be constructive in your criticism. If they ask for it, be helpful in that way. If you don't have something good to say, don't say it at all. Or find the best way to deliver it, and how can this be improved, rather than why it's just awful. So you need to find a good approach, and critiques are very difficult. They are definitely the hardest pill to swallow when people are starting to look at your own work, and it's very hard to come up with the right things to say when you're viewing others. But I've always heard and learned through my schooling and just what I've passed on to my students is that if you don't really know what to say, you might want to do a little compliment sandwich. So come up with something that you do like about it. And it can't just be an overall, I think I like that picture. It's got to be something specific about, the way you let it go of blurring the background, that bokeh just looks great. So, awesome. I love how you did that with using the very shallow depth of field, whether it was a long focal length or you're very close to your subject, or a super, super wide open aperture, whatever you're doing to make that happen. Wow, I like that. But then you can critique them on what's not working here. But your framing is kind of awkward with your subject, I mean, what if you kind of shift it back this way, or you didn't tilt as much? That's a little too severe for your subject matter. And then finish it off with, but you really do have a good use of light, and it's very strong here. I think it's really dramatic and working well. I mean, that's just a random example of a picture I'm not even looking at, and it's just an idea of how to approach critiquing an image. And we don't have to do it. We don't always have to soften the blow of these things. Sometimes you can just get in there and say, you know what, I don't think this part is working. You know, they can take it how they want. It really doesn't mean anything from somebody else, but it's just up to us how we take it. And the same thing when you post into the group. And what I like to say for groups is you want to be active as a follower first. You don't want to jump in there and act like you are somebody and your pictures mean a whole lot. They may mean a whole lot, and you may be somebody. But as far as the group is concerned, you're brand new. And whether people know your name or not, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I've been doing the podcast for TakingTalkPics.com since April 6th, and, my name's getting out there a little bit. But when I enter a new group, I am not Rob Kruger from TakingTalkPics.com. I'm just Rob, some photographer out in Chicago who's also trying to make it and learn from others and grow as well, because I'll tell you, I learn every single day in this industry, and I think it will be endless as far as we go in this digital age and how we continue. It is fascinating. It truly is. So start as a follower. Enjoy seeing others work. Enjoy seeing how the group flows together as far as how we post, how we communicate, who are the front runners as far as who's posting all the time, who's commenting all the time. Do you want to be associated with those people? Would you like to be friends with them in some way or network with them? That is your call. Because sometimes I'll get into a group where I don't like the vibe. It just seems a little too negative and people are just ready to bash each other. And it doesn't matter who it is. Somebody will post a picture and people are putting it down. The next person will just put everybody else down in the next few images. So it's just kind of sad, and I don't want to be a part of those groups. So I'll leave right away because it just doesn't feel right. It's not a good networking group. So you got to be careful about where you're entering as well. And sometimes they'll be very strict about how you are interacting with others. The admins of these groups can kick you out at any time. So be careful about what it is you're doing. It's not just a free-for-all to go crazy and tell people what you really think, Yeah, so take it easy, work your way into the group, and then start sharing and let people know that this is early sharing for you. Hey, this is my first or second, third time, whatever. So that way they are ready to kind of support you in a certain way because they know your level as far as this group is concerned and how to handle any constructive criticism they may have for you. So that way they can either soften the blow, or maybe they're those people that are just totally blunt about it. You got to be prepared. So get involved in groups. And I really believe that is the number one way on Facebook to network. It's 100% free. You can get involved with a lot of great different people who you didn't know existed. And you can discover a lot of people you didn't know you'd want to follow. So start it there. I mean, there are a ton of different ways to network. You can go on and on forever. And I think next week for the Monday message, I'm going to talk about Twitter and how you can use that for your favor of networking. And really, I just would really suggest to you, boil it down to one specific way of networking to start. Because they tell you, you got to be everywhere. You got to be everywhere. Sure, it'd be awesome to post on Instagram every day and, be active in a bunch of different groups on Facebook every day and put up a different tweet every other hour each and every day. But that's a lot of work to maintain everything. So pick one and start there. Find a rhythm that works for you and then move to the next and see if that also has a rhythm for you that you can work into your systems that we have on our day-to-day basis, just making it in this industry. I'm going to stop preaching to you, photo world. I'm Rob Kruger, TakingTalkPics.com. Keep tuning in. I love having you here, and happy shooting. Hey, photo world, TakeTalkBook.com. That's right, you can get a free audiobook today and a free month trial subscription for Audible.com. Just go to TakeTalkBook.com and get started today. Thank you, Photo World, for stopping by on another great episode here on TakingTalkPics.com. Be sure to share Take and Talk Pics with your friends and photo family out there. Tweet about it with hashtag HeyPhotoWorld, and we'll follow along and see what great things you have to say. Happy shooting.